Hi, this is Steve Alves from Texas A&M University, Corpus Christi. I am an instructor for the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure track here at the university. This training video is part of a series that we have created for the Cyber Patriot program to demonstrate Ubuntu security features. In this video, we will walk through Linux password policies, which are managed by files contained in the pam.d directory. So let's begin by installing the cracklive module that we will use in this process. Before we're able to install modules, we need to switch over to root. Now that we have root access, let's go ahead and install the cracklive module. Now that module is installed, let's go ahead and set up failed login attempts. To do that, we're going to gedit one of the pam.d directory files. What we're basically going to do is we're going to add a line right here before the auth success equals 1 line. Okay, what we have here is a parameter that says if you fail to log in 5 times, your account will be locked out. Your account will be locked out for 15 minutes. The 900 is 900 seconds, and when you convert that into minutes, you end up with 15 minutes. In addition to normal users, we've also set this up so that it also occurs with the root user. So let's do a Control S and a Control Q to save and exit out of the file. And now let's go ahead and set up minimum password length and composition. To do that, we're going to gedit another pam.d file called common-password. So to start, what we're going to do is we're going to edit this line here, the password requisite line, and we're going to add a few additional parameters to the end of the line. Okay, what we have here is that the user has 3 attempts to change their password. The password has to be a minimum of 8 characters. The diff OK equals 3 means that the user must enter at least 3 characters in the new password that are different from the old password. Reject username means that we will reject, or the system will reject, the username if used forward or reverse form when creating the new password. Min class equals 3 means that the system will require that at least 3 of these credits have got to be utilized. So the D credit, the U credit, the L credit, or the O credit. 3 out of those 4 parameters must be utilized. The maximum repeat, this option rejects a password with n numbers that are the same consecutive characters. So if you have a password that has 11 or 22 or 123, I'm not sorry, 3 1s or 3 2s, it's going to reject it because you're repeating a character more than twice. Now, the D credit. The D credit means if you use digits in your password, you get a credit for it. The U credit means if you use uppercase characters or letters, you'll get credit. L credit means if you use a lowercase letter. And O credit means if you use symbols, you'll get credit. So if we start out here with a minimum password length, let's say of 12, and you create a password that has a digit, an uppercase letter, a lowercase letter, and a special character or symbol, you can get away with a password that's only 8 characters in length. Now, if you create a password that has digits, upper and lowercase letters, your password is now going to be required to be at least 9 characters. So this length here is reduced for each one of these parameters that you meet. All right, let's go ahead and set up password history. So what we want to do is right after the line that we just entered, we want to add the following line. Okay, password history. Remember equals 5. That means that it'll remember the last 5 passwords that you've used to make sure you don't reuse those passwords when you create your new password. The enforce for root means that this is also going to be the case for the root user if the root user decides to change their password. Okay, now let's edit the hashing algorithm to make sure that we're setting strong passwords. Now if we go over here and take a look at the current configuration of the system, we see that it's currently using a SHA-512. SHA-512 is the best module that can currently be used on this system. If you see an MD5 here, so instead of SHA-512, if you see something that looks like MD5, instead of SHA-512 you see MD5, you need to change that from MD5 to SHA-512. By the same token, another option you'll frequently see is SHA-256. So if you see the SHA-256 sitting there instead of the SHA-512, you need to change this to SHA-512. Now, one last parameter you might want to add to this file is the shadow parameter. What this parameter does is it attempts to enforce the use of the shadow file when setting up passwords. So now that we have set up our password history. We've checked our hashing algorithm. We've set up minimum password length and password composition. Let's go ahead and save this file with a Control S and then close the file with Control Q.